The life and sad ending of Dan Fogelberg. Dan Fogelberg was born Daniel Grayling Fogelberg on August 13, 1951, in Peoria, Illinois. He was the youngest of three sons born to Margaret, a classically trained pianist, and Lawrence Peter Fogelberg, a high school band director at Peoria's Woodruff High School and Pekin Community High School. Dan's mother was a Scottish immigrant, and his father was of Swedish descent. His father would later be the inspiration for the song leader of the band. Dan often related his memory of his father allowing him to conduct the school band when he was only 4 years old. At the time, Fogelberg Sr. was band director at Bradley University in Peoria. Using a Mel Bay course book, Dan taught himself to play a Hawaiian slide guitar that his grandfather had given him. He also learned to play the piano. At age 14, he joined a band, The Clan, which covered the Beatles. His second band was another cover band, The Coachmen, who, in 1967, released 2 singles written by Fogelberg. They were cut at Golden Voice Recording Studio in South Pekin, Illinois, and released on Ledger Records label, Maybe Time Will Let Me Forget and Don't Want to Lose Her. After graduating from Woodruff High School in 1969, Fogelberg studied theater arts and painting at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign while playing local venues with a folk rock band, The Ship. He began performing as a solo acoustic player in area cafes. One of these included the Red Herring, which is where he made his first solo recordings as part of a folk festival in 1971. He was discovered by Irving Azoff, who started his music management career promoting another Champaign-Urbana act, REO Speedwagon. Azoff sent him to Nashville, Tennessee, to hone his skills. There he became a session musician and recorded his first album with producer Norbert Putnam. In 1972, Fogelberg released his debut album Home Free to lukewarm response, although it eventually reached platinum status. Fogelberg's second effort was more successful. The 1974 Joe Walsh-produced album Souvenirs, the song Part of the Plan became Fogelberg's first hit. Fogelberg also received contributions from the Eagles throughout the album. Dan had toured with the group during this time. After Souvenirs, he released a string of gold and platinum albums, including Captured Angel, recorded at Golden Voice Recording Studio, South Pekin, Ill, and Netherlands. His 1978 Twin Sons of Different Mothers was the first of 2 collaborations with jazz flutist Tim Weisberg, which found commercial success with songs such as The Power of Gold. Power of Gold peaked at number 59 on the UK singles chart, his sole entry on that chart. The album reached number 42 on the UK albums chart, likewise his only entry there. Phoenix, from 1979, reached the top 10, with Longer becoming a top 2 pop hit in 1980. This LP eventually sold 2 million copies. It was followed by a top 20 hit Heart Hotels. In 1980, Fogelberg appeared on the soundtrack to the film Urban Cowboy with his song Times Like These and first performed on a live television program. The Innocent Age, released in October 1981, was Fogelberg's critical and commercial peak. The double album included 4 of his biggest hits, Same Old Lang Syne, Hard to Say, Leader of the Band, and Run for the Roses. He drew inspiration for The Innocent Age from Thomas Wolfe's novel Of Time and the River. A 1982 Greatest Hits album contained 2 new songs, both of which were released as singles, Missing You and Make Love Stay. In 1984, he released the album Windows and Walls, containing the singles The Language of Love and Believe in Me. According to MTV, Fogelberg couldn't capitalize fully on his popularity, due to stage fright that caused him to cancel live appearances, including a Dodgers Stadium gig with Elton John. This specious claim was later refuted by Dan himself, citing recurrent streptococcal tonsillitis as the cause of his cancellations, and a dramatic improvement in his health after a tonsillectomy. Fogelberg released High Country Snows in 1985. Recorded in Nashville, it showcased his and some of the industry's best talent in bluegrass. Vince Gill, Ricky Skaggs, Doc Watson, Jerry Douglas, David Grisman, Chris Hillman, and Herb Peterson contributed to the record. In a world he defined as life in the fast lane, Fogelberg described the music as life in the off-ramp. In late 1985, he switched gears and took to the road with a group of musician friends, including Joe Vitale, Paul Harris, Tino Gonzalez, Jeff Grossberg, and Rick Roses, playing blues in small clubs throughout Colorado as Frankie and the Aliens, covering songs by Cream and Muddy Waters, among others. In 1987 heralded a return to rock with Exiles, an album that contained What You're Doing, a throwback to the old Stax Records sound made famous in Memphis during the 1960s. The Wild Places, an album whose theme was the preservation of nature, was released in 1990 followed by a tour. His Live Greetings from the West album, and full-length concert film of the same name, was released in 1991. River of Souls, released in 1993, was Fogelberg's last studio album for Sony Records. In 1997, the box set portrait encompassed his career with 4 discs, each highlighting a different facet of his music: ballads, rock and roll, tales and travels, and hits. In 1999, he released a Christmas album, The First Christmas Morning, and in 2003, Full Circle showcased a return to the folk-influenced 1970s soft rock style of music. In May 2017, a live album of Fogelberg's performance at Carnegie Hall, championed by his family and longtime friend Herb Azoff, sourced from a 1979 tape made by his touring sound company, was released. It peaked at number 71 on the Billboard album chart on June 10, 2017, becoming the first of Fogelberg's live albums to chart on the Billboard Top 200 chart. Fogelberg was married 3 times, to Maggie Slaymaker of Nashville, from 1982 to 1985, to Anastasia Savage, a nurse and artist from Louisiana, from 1991 to 1996, and to musician Jean Marie Mayer, from April 7, 2002, until his death in late 2007. From the early 1980s until his cancer diagnosis, Fogelberg lived near Pagosa Springs, Colorado, on a large working ranch, which housed a recording studio that he built. He also owned a home in Maine, on Deer Isle, overlooking Eggemogan Reach, which he moved into while receiving treatment in Boston. In May 2004, Fogelberg was diagnosed with advanced prostate cancer. After undergoing therapy, his cancer went into partial remission. In August 2005, Fogelberg announced the success of his cancer treatments. However, his cancer returned, and on December 16, 2007, Fogelberg died at home in Deer Isle, Maine, at the age of 56. Fogelberg was cremated and his ashes were scattered into the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Maine. Love in Time became the first Dan Fogelberg album to chart since River of Souls in 1993, reaching number 117 on the Billboard Top 200 on October 10, 2009.